Hello everybody, welcome to Hail It RV. My name is Josh the RV Nerd. Behind us at 3,375 pounds empty weight, the Geo Pro 20 FPS. This one came out last year and it did something that a lot of people wanted. A lot of people said, I really like Geo Pros, but you guys always keep yourselves restricted to like a 20-foot maximum. I don't want a Murphy bed. I don't want a corner bed. I want a bed I can walk around. And I said, you know what? You got it. They paired that up with a nice sofa slide and a very nice rear bathroom on this thing. And I think this is a absolutely phenomenal, high class, but small, which is sometimes hard to find, travel trailer for either a single solo individual or a nice little camping couple. I think it could work either way. It works just as well really in the parks as out of the parks, as it has a factory solar and inverter package to be able to run some of those outlets. We like to, no, actually that became standard. I'm sorry, we used to add the tank heaters to these. Those became standard. Standard factory TPMS, standard double Azdel, standard griddle outside. A lot of big time standards on this one. That's really the thing that I've really come to love about Rockwood. They are what I've started to refer to as the hold my beer of camping brands. They like to do and instead of or. Someone says, yeah, but we could do this or that, and Rockwood says, yeah, but wouldn't it be better if we did this and that? Now, there's a couple little times that sometimes they'll almost get in their own way, and when we start talking about the travel accessibility of this one, you'll see what I mean there, but hang with me. Uncle Josh got a little tip for you to work around that. And as we go through here, if you didn't see our initial video on one of these, this is your first time checking it out, and I can't talk apparently, and I don't edit my stuff out. Leave us a couple comments. Let me know what you think about this model. Not a lot has changed since it first came out. A little bit of an exterior facelift. A couple little things that were optional became standard. But I don't think they really had to change the recipe. Colonel Sanders didn't change his recipe. All right, so just to give you a frame of reference, that's obviously our primary entry door there. We have that front walk-around bed here, but we're looking at this from the position of the sofa. So if you're just sitting down, chilling out during the day, this is kind of what you'd look at here. And I like doing this because it reveals a couple things that are not always as obvious, like the fact that you've got some pretty decent door side window coverage on this, not to mention the front windshield, the across the bed breeze windows, and the window behind us here on the sofa. Now, the TV up there, the positioning is unconventional, but Rockwood's found a lot of success with this because it's on a double jointed swing arm. So you can make it face toward the sofa, toward the bed, whatever you'd like. And I should have pulled this halfway down, but Rockwood, you know how I gripe all the time about how RV brands don't give us the shade in the door? What they don't, Rockwood does. And that's what I mean when I say Rockwood doing Rockwood things. Now, they do a lot of really, really good stuff. But sometimes they do kind of got to play ball with the field they're given here, and sometimes that can mean limitations that the RV throws at them due to its body size. Like we have a 7-foot body here. The fender flares technically stick out a little bit, but what that means is that this is neither a true queen length or width. I guess you'd call this like a full size or something like that. I believe it's about 54 by 74, the bed down here. So kind of just keep little details like that in mind. And sometimes even if it's not just all sunshine and rainbows, I'll make sure that you're aware of what you're getting into here, because can we all agree this is a very significant purchase? There's a lot of money on the line. I want you folks to know that you're making the right decision here. Like for instance, you know what? Here, let me actually flip the camera around. Like, it's easy for me just to be cute and say, well, no, it's not easy for me to be cute, but it's easy for me to say, look at this, I can walk under the air conditioner. The knobs don't even hit me on the head, blah, blah, blah. Yes, that is true. At the center of the camper, if I come over here, it starts getting awful darn close. One of the weight-saving measures that they... Okay, well, I don't know what kind of multi-legged nightmare demon that was up there, but it will not be bothering us anymore. Well, what I was getting at is one of the weight-saving measures that they do on this is they actually have a little bit shorter sidewall. It's a 6'1" sidewall with like a 5-inch vault to get us 6.5 feet here, which is a standard height. And maybe it's splitting hairs, but it's a personal pet peeve of mine. And I'll admit, I am absolutely a person who becomes mired in semantics. You can accuse me of that, and I will say you are correct. I am guilty. But I don't like it when someone goes, what's the height in this thing? And somebody just goes 6.5 feet. Yeah, but not necessarily, not true. And the reason I say it is, especially once we get in the shower, you'll understand why the shorter sidewall really means something. I will always try to give you the best information I can. I want you to make sure you're getting your second camper the first time. That's the stuff that we do for you here at Haylett RV. Now, the roof is actually 2 separate laminated sections that are hooked together. I've done a full Rockwood Geo Pro factory tour where you actually get to see a cross section looking straight down the roof construction of that thing to see what I mean. It's actually pretty cool. As long as we're talking about roof ceiling stuff, you've got a 13,500 BTU roof air conditioner standard on these. Actually, the early days Geo Pros roof air, any air conditioner was technically optional. It was not standard. And they have a very solid lighting package on these. That is something I've always really liked. They've maintained a nice light, bright decor. I like those little color band accents that they've added into the fascia and the little touch-ups that they've done on like the window treatments here. I don't know, it just kind of works for me. Now over here, we've got a little sofa slide. If we take a look though, that can kind of become, instead of a little cuddle compliant seat, that can be like a little simulated cinema sofa that magically converts into a handy dandy Dinofa table with the free floating table that hides behind that. And notice how we have the roll down blackout shades right there for all the windows, with the exception of the front windshield, by the way. That is the only window in here. No, you know what? Another exception. Over here in the kitchen, you have a metallic mini blind, but that is due to fire code because you're right next to a cooking source here, which I suppose is the perfect opportunity to segue over into our handy kitchen space. I will fully admit this is a very limited counter space camper. I think this is a camper that really relies on you using the fire pit and the picnic table like at your campsite, you know. But remember I said that TV can pivot around. Check it. That thing cranks all over the place. That is also a 12-volt television that has an integrated DVD player. And that is what is the measurement? Oh, I always forget. I think it's 5.3 cubic foot 12-volt compressor fridge right there with the microwave above. And the reason that they're using that, like that's a smaller 12-volt fridge than a lot of camper brands use. It's by intention, because those 12-volt fridges, if you're going to go boondocking and off-grid, like we're running a lot of lights in here. I'm sucking a lot of juice off the battery currently. That being said, if you don't run the refrigerator, like what I'm doing right here, the roof solar package that's standard on this is actually recharging my battery that I've hooked up to this trailer right now to do this tour. The fridge is really the only thing that will, eat up your battery. The idea behind the smaller fridge is to make sure that you're not destroying the battery really, really fast, in terms of not destroying like damaging, but destroying in terms of using up all your available juice effectively. You have options, if you would so like, for a convection microwave oven up there. You also have the option of sacrificing that double door storage space down here to get a gas oven. What we're looking at today is the way that we tend to build them here at Haylett RV. And we have a lot of requests. Like, some people want the convection, some people want the propane oven. It really depends on how you camp. The way that we build them here seems to be very popular, especially among our somewhat local, regional type folks. But we are a nationwide dealer. I don't care where you're at. These things are on wheels. We can get them there. If we need to build one a little bit different for you, you give us a shout. We're going to make it happen. Now, what do we want to do? Let's talk tech stuff. So just to give you an idea, that's our charge controller right there. When I first start, you see how it just popped from 14.2 to 14.3? That's perfect. I couldn't have timed that better if I tried. When I first hooked this up, it was sitting actually at 13.6. So it is charging the battery that I have on the tongue of this trailer. Now let's talk outlets. Every outlet in this RV is run to a 1,000-watt inverter. So if you're going to be off-grid, you need to power something up, you can. But notice, too, you got the cigarette lighter plug up there, because this is a 12-volt television. Very handy if you're going to do a little bit of boondock, mooch docking, something like that, you know. Notice you got that integrated DVD player. This also has the, Bluetooth stereo right there with an HDMI input. Perfect for little Fire Sticks and stuff, by the way. Or Roku sticks, whatever your preference is. And the Wi-Fi Ranger. This RV has a built-in signal access point. An easier way to describe that, the more people understand, is it pretty much has a built-in router. It also has the ability, you can get the new We RV app, get it on your little handy-dandy phone there, and like, it's nice that it still just has a physical switch panel over here. But if you want to run the slides, awnings, you want to check your monitors, activate, tank heaters, stuff like that. I think you can activate the tank heaters on the app. I know they were talking about doing an update for that. You can do those things here. There's a lot of really, really cool stuff you can do. Now, by the way, if you want to make sure you're not, really taxing the batteries, even though all of these ceiling lights are on one switch, which is actually a really handy convenience factor, and they have a good lighting package, you can turn them off. You can turn them on and off individually, get as much or as little light as you would like. Notice, too, we are carpetless, we are ventless, we are easy cleaning, baby, and I believe we are moving on to the business office back here. And I personally think this bathroom is basically as well done as they possibly could have accomplished in this little space. So, small camper, big toilet space. Notice that's a porcelain foot flush stool right there. Now, I don't want, remember I was talking about the sidewall height, and I kind of went on my little soapbox right there, because apparently I feel strongly about that. Here's what I mean. 6'2", 6'3" guy standing in there. The skylight is an absolute necessity. Now, if I ET phone home stretch, my head's really pressing up into the interior skylight panel up there, I can make it work though. The radius bar on this shower really helps us some elbow room too. But again, the Rockwood doing Rockwood things. They always add plus one more, or in this case, like plus 2 or 3, like we got the handy shower caddy there, as well as the SHOWERMISER water saver system. If you're boondocking, basically what this will do is recirculate the water that's, when you're waiting for it to heat up back into your fresh tank. And then when that blue elbow right there turns white, basically you know that your water's hot. I don't remember the exact temperature where it changes, but when it starts turning white, you know you got warm water coming out. The light decor really helps it open up in here. But notice too, it's not just the kitchen. You get the nicer stainless sink hardware everywhere, and some really good storage over here. It's going to sound unconventional, and it sounds weird talking about a pantry in your bathroom, but when you're camping, you make it work, You have limited storage in the kitchen, especially if you get the propane oven and you lose that big cabinet. My grandmother always kept soup cans, just sealed stuff like that back in a big closet kind of space in their bathroom. And you know what? It worked just fine. She obviously fed me chicken noodle soup, and I came out mostly pretty much fine. Also, extra large fan up here in case you have a bad run-in on a Taco Tuesday. And it's not perfect, but if you're sitting here on the toilet, and you take a look up there, you see that we are at least 70% toilet TV certified. And with all the windows in the windshield, the neighbors can help monitor your fiber intake. Now, remember way back when, at the start of our adventure, I told you I had a little trick to show you for traveling access road mode on this one. Because, if you look at it, at a glance with the slide closed, you're like, whoa, they did an amazing job here. But remember how I said sometimes Rockwood gets in their own way by doing too much? This is exactly what I mean right here. They had to add these cool sofa fascia bolsters here with the cup holders next to the sofa because we're Rockwood and we do more. The problem is that makes it so that you can't get into the bathroom right here. But talking to some people who have actually purchased one of these trailers and done some simple things, I have a couple ideas for you. And welcome to another segment of Uncle Josh's Handy Dandy Upgrades. So, the first question some people are going to have is, why don't they just make that a sliding pocket door? Maybe it's not obvious from this video. That door's on an angle. There's not a straight in and out place, so that's not an option. There's a lot of people said, well, I camp alone, or it's just the two of us, and we're okay with being around one another. If we take that door down and just put a curtain up there, problem solved. Yes, absolutely, that would work. And actually what might work pretty nicely right there, if you get one of those kind of blacked out but magnetic pass-through that auto zips itself back shut, that could actually be very cool right there for maintaining a visual breakpoint and making for easy in and out access. The other thing here though is if you pop the little black cup holder out of that thing, it's a little bit of a reach, but there's just a couple screws right there. And if you unscrew that thing, you can take that little armrest bolster off, and then the door opens and closes easily. And there's actually been a large number of viewers that I've talked to who purchased this model last year and said, well, yeah, I took that thing off and I never felt like I was really missing it, so I just left it off so it's just easier. Another thing you could do once you take that off is what I would kind of like is you add a like one of those almost like a picture frame things where that you slot on top of the screw and then lock it down in place, so that could be a quick release armrest. That's, I think, what I would probably go with, so that it wouldn't look like there's screws missing out of my slide fascia when I was done, but I would have a handy enhanced function. That being said, I don't normally directly address manufacturers like this, but Rockwood, come on, you're better than this. Like, that's the thing that really surprises me about this, is they've done just nailed so many other things. This one little oversight here, that feels like something they could absolutely nail, I think. And hopefully, maybe in the 2023 model years, we'll see something revised right there. I don't know, you make enough of an uproar about it, and they tend to hear things eventually. Now, through the history of the Geo Pro lineup, they've really kind of kept themselves contained to 20-foot tip-to-tail, tongue-to-bumper. This is one of the only Geo Pros like this, like the 20 FBS, or 20 BHS rather. This is the 20 FBS, never mind me. But that has essentially violated that. Sometimes people wonder, why do they try to keep them so small? It's actually for shipping purposes, just in case you would like some insights into the RV industry. Like Haylett RV, we are located right in the backyard, in the heart of Michiana, where all these things are built. Michiana being the fictitious land between Michigan and Indiana. But not every dealer is. Some dealers are from very, very far away. And getting these things shipped to them is very costly, because freight for shipping trailers is not standardized. Not every dealership pays the same. It's one of our benefits here at Haylett RV. Because we're so local, we pay absolute minimum freight. We're effectively a hometown dealership, which is kind of nice. It does also carry a couple little handy benefits with it, which I don't mind exploiting every now and then, because, hey, that's showbiz, baby. But like getting to send our staff down to have to literally be factory trained is nice. But for those dealerships who are really far away, shipping can very quickly increase the cost of a trailer and very quickly diminish the margins that the business operates on. So on a small trailer like this, if you can take a big flatbed and double or triple up the trailers, you obviously cut the freight costs in those by a half or a third, which is a dramatic difference naturally. Well, 20 feet is kind of a magic number. So when Rockwood went above and beyond that, there's going to be some customers for whom this trailer immediately costs significantly more. That's why they're always so stuck on it. You may have noticed inside there that all aluminum skeleton. That's a really cool thing Rockwood does. If you haven't seen it, take a minute after this. I'll leave you a link where you can check out our Geo Pro factory tour and actually get to see these things as they're being built. You'll get to see why they use an aluminum structure under the bed and anywhere else structural that's load bearing. It's just a nice thing that they do here. Now, I want to point out one of two anomalies I have noticed on this trailer that are a symptom of limited supply of certain things. What we're looking at right here are Goodyear Endurance radials, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with those tires. But those are not the normal tires that normally come on a Geo Pro. But leave it to Rockwood, when they have to use a substitution, they're only substituting a 15-inch Goodyear Endurance radial. That's their backup plan, if that gives you an idea of who you're working with here. Normally what you'd have are Westlake radials, which have a little more like off-road look and profile. Well, I'm guessing they were short on those, just a theory, just because there's been a lot of that this year. It still has the TPMS and all that, but the future copies this we have in stock may have a different tire. I actually don't dislike the fact that this has Goodyears on it. That doesn't offend me any personally. Now, you might wonder, if you're familiar with Geo Pros, yeah, but wait a minute, does that mean it still has the, I don't like to call it off-road, I like the sport suspension thing with the axle riser lift kit? Yes, it still has that. They didn't get rid of that just because they didn't have the tire they wanted available. So this does still have the axle lift kit. It does still ride just shy of 3 inches higher off the ground. Just thought you'd appreciate knowing that. Now on the back side here, There's a couple things you don't often find on little campers, but that's one of the things I love about Rockwood is their consistency. Like, look at this, big brother, little brother over here, just to give you an idea. I totally obviously just saw something shiny, and I totally went off the reservation here, but we're doing it live! All right, so there's a Geo Pro, the smallest member of the Rockwood family, sitting right next to the next member up in the family, a mini light. And when you just see them on camera, one at a time, you really don't have a sense of comparative scope and scale. But especially with the white exterior upgrade on that mini light, you can see how the mini light is really just a super Geo Pro. It's just a little bit bigger, it's a little bit wider, it's just a little more extra. But they have like more in common than dissimilar. They both have double Azdel walls. Now that is front wall, rear wall, side walls. They both have a full aluminum structure, including laminated roofing and a tongue and groove 5/8 plywood floor decking, which is frankly overkill for a little trailer like this. That's one of the reasons, though, they have gained a little bit of extra weight on the mini lights, or nope, Geo Pros compared to previous years. Well, technically mini lights compared to their previous years as well. But you want a good house, you start with a good foundation. What I was getting at is their consistency. Like having all the spots where our cable and our water hooks up, including a black tank flush and a hot cold outside shower here. Those are things you just don't normally find on little single axle campers. Four corner stabilizer jacks. You get a little power drill and operate them, and then they become cordless jacks or whatever you want to call them. I don't know. That's a tongue-in-cheek phrase we use on the Wildwoods. Now again, it still has that axle riser kit. You still have some very solid clearance under your sewer stuff there. Even though it's not the tire that they necessarily intended to use, it's still plenty. Notice too, you got a handy little sewer hose caddy down there. And they're using the same water heater here that they use over there in the Big Brother Mini Light, and then on the Ultra and on the Signature. It is gas and electric, fast recharge. Meaning you can run the gas and electric simultaneously, and basically this thing theoretically could have just shy of 18 gallons of hot water coming out of it per hour. And I tell you what, there was one point during the summer we were down to 3 new RVs available in stock. I know some places that literally totally ran out, sold out. It is really, really nice seeing that again. It is really nice when somebody comes to visit us, that they get a chance to actually physically see something instead of just, oh, here's my pictures, here's my website, you know. I would personally want to put my hands on something like this before I bought it. These videos I put together, getting you up here on the roof like I do, I think it's helpful, but man, nothing's like, I try on pants before I buy them, you know. This is the very expensive pair of pants. So back here, we've got the big Max Air vent cover with the roof vent. Normally on these you'd get a low profile air. The RV that we're looking at today was built during a time where the low profile airs are probably sitting in a container ship somewhere offshore, just in an indefinite ring around the rosy holding pattern. And over here we've got the standard 190 watt roof solar package on these. Again, with the charge controller that's on these and with the available space up here on the roof, such as where I'm standing, if you wanted to bulk that up from 190 to 380, you could do that. And remember, you also have that side mount solar prep plug for portable panels. So once again, thank you very much for joining us today. If you haven't done so already, leave me a couple notes. Let me know what you like about this one, what you would change given the opportunity, and if you appreciate the way that we give you a fair approach, like telling you how it's not a big giant true queen bed, showing you the RV in travel mode, and even getting up on the roof for you. It sounds dramatic, risking life and limb. Not really that severe, I suppose, but you know, not exactly the smartest thing I do on a given day. But usually me and smart, we don't tend to collide very often in the same sentence. You ask the associates who are close to me and they will confirm that for you. And hey, have a little fun along the way. So when you're ready, we're ready. I'll leave you a link in the video description. You can check for pricing and availability. And short of that, take care, stay safe, have fun. Happy camping, everyone. Happy Haylet camping, everyone. Forgotten that a couple times. Everyone's like, what's going on? What's going on? I just forgot to say it. That's it. That's it.